So just the other day, I posted a video on the Osmo Mobile 3 and gave a little review about what I thought about it. Now, I had gotten a comment on it asking if I would put it up against an actual older gimbal, the Snoppa Atom. And I wasn't going to, but what the heck? Let's do that right now. So here they are. Here's the two gimbals. On my left, right here, the gray one, is the Osmo 3. On my right is the Snoppa Atom. Now, if you look at these two, they're really similar. And what's kind of cool about, I'll say, the Snoppa is that it was a Kickstarter. And I actually got this probably like 9 months ago, for sure, somewhere in that range. It's neat to see that a company like them brought this out 9 months ago, and now all these other companies, and you'll see them all coming out with these portable gimbals coming out now. So I think these guys kind of the originals in regards to that. So how does it hold up? Are there features that are better? Are there features that they need to work on? This is going to be a small one because if you do want to see like the video quality and all the app stuff, I have videos for those, so you can go look at those. I'll put little links up there if you so choose. So size wise, if you look at these two, they are almost identical in size. And if you were to put them this way, I would say that the Osmo has it beat by a little, not much. The handle size, of course, is bigger on this, but the way that these arch, see if you guys can see that at the top, they kind of equal very close up here, right? So their peak parts really close to each other. So I would say that that's not too big of an issue. And depending on your hand size, you may actually like the fact that this one here, the Atom, gives you more handle, for sure, more handle versus the Osmo. Now the other thing that I do like in regards, well, let's talk about the Osmo first. What I like about it is, number one, is setup. So this thing is quick. It's all kind of based on just like snap, right? So it's just click, right? Click, and you're good. That's kind of it, right? Putting it away, same idea. This just snaps down. This just, you make sure you kind of get it in place here, and that's it. You're off. But if this was in your bag or whatever, you will notice that this does have the ability to kind of pop out of place fairly easy. Just kind of, there's little latches in here that it snaps into, but everything kind of just pops out. Now that's a good and a bad at the same time. Over on the Atom, if you flip this around, you will see that there's a push, and this is to lock this in place. So this arm, when it's down and locked, it's just not moving. So for making sure that this doesn't get damaged, I like that, because you just simply just give this a push, and now this just floats up, right? But once it's in here and snapped into place, that's not coming off. It's just, it's in there. It's not going anywhere. Push that button, there she is, right? Same idea. The rest of these arms, very similar. So they just kind of line up and you're good. Is there a win to this? No, I don't think so. And again, I'm not really going to go win-lose. It's really about showing why you may want to go to one versus you may want to go to the other. Because honestly, they're both good. I've been using this a lot, and I don't know if I really have a need to replace it with something like this. Now let's go to some of the features. Now, this feature-wise, there's no real feature on here that I can think of that necessarily this one doesn't have. Button configuration, I'm going to flip this one over. Very similar. This one does have that ability to do your focus zooms or your wide, your telephoto, you're zooming your phone in and out. So they both have that, which is great. I think that's a must nowadays for these kind of things. If you spin it around this way, same kind of button configuration. So you got your joystick, you have your mode button, you have your button to be able to set things like your record. But if you come back here, you will see there's extra buttons. So you have a button here for, again, different modes. You have this for your power. They both have triggers on the back, so very similar in what their triggers do. But that's really hardware-wise where now the actual Atom starts to excel. So a couple things that are really cool, and you'll be able to see these right off the side here. So number one, this is probably one of my favorite things actually, is this and this. These two right here. You don't seem to have it. You have this, but that's like your charger, so that's cool. But these two right here. So this allows you to put a microphone in, which awesome, right? So now you have to put a microphone that either can supply its own power or doesn't need power, etc., etc. That goes in here, and then the actual gimbal has a pass-through that comes out up here, which allows you to actually pass that in to your headphone jack, or like for me, I'd use the Lightning to headphone jack adapter. You come out of there into it, and now you actually have an external microphone plugged into your smartphone without having to have the weight of the microphone on it. So it's actually a pass-through inside. Yeah, if that's a big feature for you, that's kind of cool, and I think that's a huge win for the Atom. The other thing that a lot of people aren't even aware of, and I think, again, super cool, these both have really big batteries in them. So if you're out for a day of shooting, you should have no problems on any gimbal nowadays, because they're going to give you like 12 hours of actual shooting easily. But this piece right here, this piece right here, wireless charger. Yeah, so it can wirelessly charge your smartphone when it's attached. None of this, oh, my phone's out of power. And especially since you may be using the Lightning on an iPhone to run an external mic, you need wireless charging because you can't plug a charger in because it's being used with your wireless mic. Another huge win, right? That's a big win, in my opinion, for things like that, because I like wireless charging. I like it a lot. Win for the Atom in that regards. Now, the other thing, and I'm going to bring up just a phone here, just to give you guys some looky, and I'm going to bring out this one. So this is again the Osmo, right? So camera out this way, sure, whatever. Okay, we'll turn this on. This one automatically orientates, sets itself up. I don't know, in portrait mode. But again, double click, you can switch that over. First off, if we spin this around, I'll time lapse that for you. So that's it that way. Right? So that's what we got. Okay, we're gonna turn that off. And we're gonna go to the Atom. We're gonna bring the Atom up here. Okay, we're just gonna mount that. Now, the one thing you have to remember with this one is all the arms kind of go into lock mode. I don't know if you guys can see that real here. You see there's like a lock right here. There's a lock right here. Not just this one locks, like they all lock. So when you're ready to set this up, you want to make sure that you bend them out of their lock modes. It's all about protecting the gimbal, right? Anyway, it's here. So let's do the same thing. Let's spin it around. Ready? And go. Oh, and that'll just spin around forever. So that's again a huge perk. The fact that this thing has no barrier on its ability to spin 360. It just goes and goes and goes. That to me can be again a big win. And because again with the microphone they're not attached, you're not going to get your cable all hooched up in the gimbal, right? So that's big. Now downfalls of the Atom, perks of the Osmo. This is, for me, probably one of the only downfalls of the physical hardware. Ready? So if I point this camera down, that's kind of where it stops. That's it. That's as far as you're going, right? If you point it up, that's kind of it. That's it. So now if I wanted to really get it up, you know, I could spin this around and do that, right? Now I'm there, right? You can see it up, right? And come back. So just realize if you're sitting like this and you're like, no, I want it to start way down here, and this is on a tripod, and I want it to all the way back up. No, and I think when the sidearm was designed for this one at the beginning, that was a bit of a limitation. That's probably one of the only limitations that I can really find with this one, hardware-wise. This one doesn't seem to have that issue as much, right? It seems to be able to, you can see it spin, like it spins pretty much all the way down and all the way up. So that's definitely a bit better with that. Okay, so now we talk about some of the real perks of this guy. And I would say, honestly, the biggest perk of the DJI is the fact that it's a DJI. It's going to have crazy software and firmware support. You got a huge company behind it that is going to support this with all kinds of updates consistently. I would think that just ensuring that its compatibility and how it works in relationship to all the different kinds of smartphones out there would probably be higher, because again, they have better ability to make sure that it's tested on all this. That's probably the biggest perk. I don't really think or feel that there's any real hardware advantage to this versus something like the Atom. But I do think, if you look at the app side of it, that the app development, possible future app improvements, firmware improvements, things like that will probably be better with this guy. But I really do like the hardware features of this guy. So what's more important? You know, are you just a basic shooter where you're not going to be using a mic, you don't really need wireless charging, you don't actually want all the different manual features that are available on the Atom, because you're like, I just want to be able to turn this on, set up my gimbal, make it fast, and go get some steady shots? Well, then get the Osmo. 100% get the Osmo. If you like to have some of those manual features, extra hardware features, then get the Atom, I think. And that's just my own personal preference, my own personal opinion from being able to have used both of them, right? I don't know. It's a hard one to say. I leave the rest really to you. Hopefully some of your questions were answered. If you have some, there are more and more of these portable, like really portable mobile gimbals coming out. I know Feutech has one that they just released, like a pocket. Zhiyun, I don't know if I pronounced that right, has one out or is coming out at the end of this month. So that's a big market that they're trying to all get. Bonus for me is I've been able to use this for the last 9 months. And I don't think this gives me anything really that I need that this one doesn't have. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you guys there. Leave your comments down below if you have any for these products, because I think, you know, it's good for us to have a good conversation in regards to the features and benefits of both. And if you use the Atom or the Osmo, please tell us why you chose to go that route. Because again, I think that's important for anybody else down the road that may be looking at purchasing one of these, to figure out why you went that way. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as per the usual, we will talk to you guys in the next video. Later, my friends.